Imagine if people stopped flexing and started investing. Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses and start putting their money to work in everything that they do. So today we're going to talk about what it would look like for $5,000 to turn into $1 billion from investments. Welcome to the Black Wolf Rebel Show. This is Wealthy Wednesdays, where we talk about all things money, stocks, tax, business. But today we're talking about stocks and investing overall. I'm here with my brother, Jimmy. Corey's coming along somewhere, somehow, but he'll be here soon enough. What's up, Jimmy?
Don't keep up with the Joneses and definitely don't keep up with the Combses either.
The Combses.
don't keep up with them either. No.
I guess you've been following the court proceedings.
I mean, I'm online, so people be sharing stuff, man. I'm not definitely, because first I thought it was like, hold up, is this joint being like televised? I had asked Tracy that, but she was like, nah. You got to go.
Everybody's going to the TikTok streets now.
Yeah. So I ain't even following it like that, but I'm online, so you hear the highlights, and the highlights aren't pretty at all.
Pretty? You can't even use pretty in the same sentences.
Pretty disgusting, But
this thing is crazy.
Nasty.
I mean, we're not going to talk about it tonight, but we definitely got to come back and talk about it because I do think it's a great conversation about relationships. Especially relationships in a way that, like in a real way, people really don't talk about them. They always talk about who should get the plate first, who should pay the bills, 50-50. But we never talking about like being vulnerable or being embarrassed. I mean, I think this situation is probably embarrassing for Diddy, and I'm not trying to protect the man at this, but his kids is in court. I don't think he would want his kids to see this stuff.
Yeah, I don't even know why they there hearing the kind of stuff that it makes me feel uneasy hearing this stuff. So it's his actual seeds, like
right. See, and then Cassie's husband's there.
When you start saying stuff like we're gonna talk about this on another show, and then we start talking about it, it's like
no. We're gonna talk about it on another show. We gonna stick to the code. We're gonna stick to the code. All right. So Jimmy found a great piece of content. A piece of content neither one of us like, but we like at the same time, and we'll explain that in a minute. But check this out real quick, y'all. And by the way, let me turn the music down because I don't feel like fighting with trademark infringement today.
Yeah, you know how that is. Just rewind it real fast and start it from the beginning. And I want to ask you context real fast for those who don't know. This gentleman is showing a video, since we ain't got no sound, of what $5,000 look like over a long period of time invested in each of these individual companies. They would have been $1 million today. And he's giving a different, types of companies or what have you. And I appreciate you cutting that music down, beloved, because I'm beefing with some of the algorithms now.
We got ops.
Yeah. So as a matter of fact, rewind it one more time. Let's watch it one more time because I want to name the actual corporations, right? Because these are corporations that a lot of us have heard of.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. So 5,000 invested into McDonald's 45 years ago is worth for M. Walmart 41 years ago. Sherwin-Williams 40 years ago. Nike,
I would have never guessed that.
38 years ago. Costco 36 years ago. Progressive 36 years ago. Home Depot 36 years ago. Adobe, 36 years ago. Was the Amgen 35 years ago. Lowe's, 34. Look, how about that? Lowe's and Home Depot, 35 years ago. Both of them would have got you an M with just $5K.
Yeah.
Microsoft, 34 years ago. AutoZone, get in the zone, 33 years ago. O'Reilly Automotive, 28 years ago. Amazon, 23 years ago. Monster Beverage, 21 years ago. Apple, 21 years ago. Netflix, 17 years ago. NVIDIA, 10 years ago. Bitcoin, 9 years ago.
So that was it.
Shout out to Bitcoin. What I'm saying about the Bitcoin merch.
I knew you was gonna be on the Bitcoin vibe.
This is the uniform. What I'm saying.
Listen, I appreciate you staying down. Like,
no, but
a good end to the bad, right?
Hey, listen, man. This is Stack Stats or Die Trying. By the way, go to stackstats@dietrying.com and check out the weekly Bitcoin podcast. By me, who got 2 podcasts that drop every week now. They call me Tupac Shakur, but I digress.
I want y'all to know he's actually trolling me when he says he's got 2 podcasts, y'all, but we'll get back to that later. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying they call me Tupac Shakur. Yo, for those who are here watching live, we got a number of people watching live. Go to the comment section, let us know who's here. Hit the like button, show us some love. But we're gonna talk about that clip, man, because that clip, we have
what up?
Peace, God. The clip makes me want to continue dollar cost average investing, and that's the good part about the clip. That's the good part about the clip. So shout to Comic Wisdom for the comment of the day thus far. That's the good part. So just to kind of get into the conversation about said clip, the issue I have with the clip, and it's not a big thing because I understand this is what he's trying to get across, is that it's kind of cherry picking, right? Because I can probably give you about a good 10 other companies that have invested in the last 40 years that it wouldn't have worked out that well.
It would have been flopsies.
Yeah, it might have been the opposite. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't invest long term. I think that the positive of this is it shows that investing is a long term game, not a short term game. It's a long term game, and you have to invest in great companies or great products and or services over a long period of time. Shout out to our brother Don, man. I see Don is in the comment section, and Don is about that long-term investment game. But he's also right when he says hindsight.
What up, Don?
Yeah, we can cherry pick things all we want to, which is one of the other reasons. And I know, Kamari, I'm gonna give you a chance. I don't want to steal all the points. But
no, go ahead.
It's one of the other reasons why we are huge fans of ETFs, because you get that basket, and you invest in that basket over a long period of time. You know what I mean? So. Cherry picking is one thing, but I think the overall point is you got to be in it for the long term. Investing is something that you got a big part of your lifestyle. You know what I mean? I saw Don put up a post. Speaking of Don, he's in the comments. He put up a post earlier today. And I think we both commented on it when Don said the best thing to do with money is to invest.
Yeah. So I agree with that, but I did say, and I've said this before.
That's all you said. Get mental health.
I said for us who come from trauma-filled environments, getting therapy might be a better investment.
I got an opinion on that too, because I read that, but I was like, I think everybody comes from trauma-filled environments. I think it's different types of trauma. So
okay, if you want to cherry pick that, go ahead.
Oh, here you go. I'm not cherry picking. I'm just giving a different perspective. I'm saying even if you come from means, all right, you're going to have a different level of trauma. Right?
I don't think Bill Gates had any trauma. I don't think Warren Buffett had any trauma. But
I was watching the video today. It was an NBA player. Shout out to former NBA player Charles Smith, who was a great player, by the way. He wasn't like a Hall of Fame type player, but he was a great player. Played with the Knicks, the Bulls, and all the whole nine. Anyway, his son is online. His son was talking about how he said basically he started it by saying he's not in the NBA. He's like, and not even relatively successful. He was like, and I thought about it, and it's my father's fault. He was like, I don't have any hunger. He said, because I never wanted for anything. He was making a joke of it, but he was talking about his trauma, which is a different type of trauma. He said his trauma was having everything always there for him when he needed it. He was like, and in hindsight, that actually did him a disservice. He was making a joke of it, but I think it's actually something serious to talk about.
That's a real thing. That's a real thing. I mean, right? That's why the concept shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations is a real thing. First generation usually makes the wealth. Second generation usually sustains it or grows it a little bit. Third generation squanders it and throws it all to hell.
So, I remember Buffett had a saying where he said, I want to leave my kids enough so they can do whatever it is they want to do. He was like, but I don't want to leave them enough so they don't have to do anything.
Right.
Like he wanted them to have to do something, but he wanted them to be able to pick and choose what made them happy. But at the same time, he didn't want to be on no Paris Hilton stuff where you just get a trust fund and you don't have to do nothing at all.
And just go DJ whenever you want.
But shout out to her though, she got low because at one point she was popping, but once her little assistant started popping, and a lot of folks don't know that.
I know it.
Kim used to be her side.
Kim out-popped her. Literally.
Yeah, I mean, she was willing to do things.
She out-popped her.
I mean, listen, there was also One Night in Paris drop too, but not that I ever heard of it or seen it, but I'm just telling you. But she put a tape out too.
Yeah, I heard. But
anyway, with all that being said, my point is she was put in a situation where she didn't have to do anything. And And getting back to our original conversation, I think that everybody has trauma. I think it's just different levels and different types. I know you disagree with that because you keep shaking your head.
So it's not that I disagree. Like, so for the record, rich people can have trauma, right?
More
However,
money, more problems.
what's that?
More money, more problems. So Christopher,
Yeah, I mean that's real. That's real. But for me, it's like a lot of that is self-manufactured, self-made up in your mind, which a lot of trauma is. But then there are those who are born in traumatic areas where you got to walk through certain neighborhoods and certain places where bodily harm might come your way. You're not being chauffeur driven in a Bentley or Rolls Royce. So yeah, it's trauma, but it's different types of trauma.
And then listen, I didn't grow up in privilege and had that kind of I call it privilege trauma. But I think we discount things when we try to because
no, I'm not trying to discount it. I'm
not.
When
I hear you kind of like speaking of yourself, right? And it's like
I am speaking. I am literally speaking of myself.
What I'm saying is you don't want to be competing with trauma. Like, no, my trauma is real.
I'm not competing with trauma. Like, listen, because I think that's a terrible thing to do. However, I'm defending what I wrote. I feel, because this show is about Black folks. Mm-hmm. I feel Black folks a lot of times, no matter how much privilege or access to resources and capital you might have, a lot of times therapy might do you better than buying a piece of stock. That's all I got.
No, I don't disagree with that. I was just talking about the idea of the trauma Olympics. I don't think the trauma Olympics is a good thing. Like, you know what I mean? No,
this is your fault. You brought it up. You couldn't just let the statement stand.
No. Because the way you made the statement, I'm like, yo, trauma is trauma, right? I gave Don an alternative to the investing too, though. But that's either here nor there.
I didn't see that. What did you say?
I commented before you did. It's on Don's post, but
I don't think you did. I think well, maybe I did. I don't know.
You trying to make everything a competition tonight, beloved?
I mean, everything with us is a competition. What are you talking about?
I told you last night.
Tupac, wait. Tupac Shakur is competition, sir.
Listen,
you put it out there. People don't realize what's going on behind the scenes, but I catch it all. Mar, know what you're talking about, boy.
I revolve around the earth like the sun.
Okay, Rock.
Yeah, Rock him the God. But anyway, all I'm saying is, is other alternatives. But I guess the original point, getting back to the original point of the video, long-term investing is the key. The key is to get into long-term investing. The one thing I will say about that is this, and I talk about this often. If you guys watch Stack Sats or Die Trying, which is one of my two pods, is Tupac Shakur. But I talk about the fact that when you embrace the long-term investor's mindset, something clicks if you do it for a period of time, where it starts to become about the journey and not the destination. And I'm not trying to give Don a blunt. Don is in the comments, and I've seen Don's posts, and I've seen over the years seen Don speak about this. I know that Don has reached that point where you actually enjoy the journey. Like I've seen Don put a post where he gets excited about like this week's ETFs he's buying, right? Because when you really embrace that long-term mentality, everything changes for you because you get out of the habit of trying to keep up with the Joneses or the Combses with their nasty asses. What you start to do is you work.
PP Combs.
You start to work on that long-term approach. And it's a shift that happens in you. It's a shift that happens in you where now you look at everything from a long-term standpoint. When I look at how we operate as a society, after embracing that long-term mentality, I look at everything crazy. I was talking to you earlier about an event I was at this morning, and I saw a politician speak. And as he's speaking, I was sitting there thinking about it because he was talking about, the terms and the different politicians. I'm like, even the way we elect officials is difficult because how can you govern with short terms like that? Because in the middle,
that's part of the problem.
But that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is I started thinking about even when it comes to quarterly earnings, right? Everything is about the short term, and it's hard to build something long term when you don't have a long term mentality. So as an individual investor, because this is Wealthy Wednesdays where we talk about personal finance, you really have to embrace the journey and forget about the destination. But that's difficult from a psychological standpoint because, we're all on our phones looking at everybody share their highlight reel instead of really embracing the journey. But embracing the journey is amazing. And if you watch the video that prompted this whole conversation, a lot of those companies have been strong companies for a long period of time where many of us have been consumers with those companies, but we're just not on the other side of the table as the investor. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from that video is the fact that we have to embrace that mentality and really, really set that DCA up and move away from it. You know what I mean?
No, I totally agree. So I'm like you. I hate the cherry picking. I hate the Monday morning quarterbacking. But I think that gives perspective, especially when you're actively in it. It's like, wow, I've been sitting here doing this all this time, and it's actually paying off. Like I've told everybody the story about, my dad and GD. General Dynamics.
And by the way, his dad did not claim GD. That's not what he's saying, because I don't want no forks up and no forks down in the comments.
General Dynamics.
Yes, General. You gotta say it that way. You gotta say it that way. And that's on
he started buying that in 1975, and I'm just looking at it like,
yo, I wasn't even born, beloved.
I was, but
your pop got stock older than me.
Yeah, I mean, so and so, like, again, just going through this process, I'm just looking at, my dad and some of his wisdom, and he wasn't the stock guy. He brought it and he forgot it. Now, I really hate the daggone company he brought it through, but that's a whole separate aside. What he did was goat worthy. So, yeah, I mean, now some of those companies, Jimmy, were you surprised by any of them?
The one that surprised me was I think only one of them surprised me was the not AutoZone, the one that came after that, the other automotive company.
O'Reilly, I think.
Yeah, and the only reason that surprised me is because it's not a company I follow, and it's not even a company. See, so here's the thing: all the other companies, I've spent money with them, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like I've seen their business and their info. Like I buy paint from Sherwin-Williams sometimes when they have colors that I like. Costco, I've been to Costco. Shout out to Costco because the food court is fire. McDonald's, Lowe's, Home Depot.
I hope you ain't buying the glizzies over there.
Nike. Whoa, hey, yo, Nike, Lowe's, Home Depot, Costco, McDonald's. Like I mean, Progressive Insurance. Like I've pretty much done business with all of them, with the exception of that one company. That's the one that was shocking.
I'm sure you didn't do any business with Amgen either.
Oh, no, Amgen. I forgot about that. No, not Amgen. Yeah. No.
I was actually surprised by Sherwin-Williams.
I wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't know they was popping like that.
Oh yeah, they get to it.
Yeah, I did not know they were popping.
What the hell does Amgen even do?
Oh, it's a pharmaceutical company.
Oh no, I ain't got no business with them. I'm a J&J boy. Hey, listen, man, I rep J&J, man. Microsoft, of course. I still pay Microsoft every month to this day. AutoZone, you know what I'm saying? Back when I was a young boy, I had to get my battery, Before what I used to do, when you drive hoopties, you be at AutoZone, dog. They do the free diagnostic when your engine light come on. Netflix. I own Netflix in 2003 or something like that. So, yeah, man. So
I'm actually looking up Sherwin-Williams now.
You already know what it is.
So I would have never guessed. In the first quarter, they reported in March of 2025, $5.3 billion, net income of 503 million. I would have never guessed that, because all I think of with Sherwin-Williams is they got these little rinky-dink. I shouldn't call them little rinky-dink because they're not really rinky-dink, but they got these paint shops on corners in like random locations, and they're doing billions.
They got contracts too, though. They do a lot of business, and sometimes they have colors there that you can't get other places. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but I would have never thunked it.
I mean, the crib I'm in now, I got painted with their stuff. You know what I'm saying? So shout to Sherwin-Williams, man. They get money.
Oh, so the mansion was done with Sherwin-Williams. So that's why I ain't know about it. That's big money.
Whoa. You trying to put me? Kamari be out here trying to put me on a platter, yo. I'm poor.
You Poe?
Pause that, but yeah, I'm poor, man. But listen though, all I'm saying is, and by the way, the craziest thing about this video You talk about 5 bands. He ain't saying nothing about DCA and he ain't saying nothing about adding no more money. He just said 5,000, literally a $5,000 investment.
But so guess what? Even if you did DCA, if you just DCA 5K, right, and just let it sit. So what is that? $400 a month, roughly.
So I got a question for you. I got a question for everybody watching now based on this video too, right? And this is just for some fun. If you had to take 5,000 right now and look back in 35 years and to see what you thought would, double, triple, quadruple, 10x, 20x, get you to where you need to be, what would you pick right now based upon what you see on the market? What company would you invest in right now? No cheap, no ETF, Kamari.
Damn it. I was gonna say VT, VTI, VOOs. That's
That's the easy. That's the easy.
I know that's what I was gonna say.
No, you got to actually pick a company.
If I had to pick a company, I feel like the Jeopardy music is about to go off. I don't know. Give me a minute to think about it. All right, I got one.
Okay.
Amazon.
Not a bad answer. What y'all thinking?
I don't think
which is funny because they're already on this list, which means you think they will continue to dominate. All right, Don says Microsoft and Waste Management. Waste Management is another one of those companies, dog. They just continuously make chicken. And
I do wonder about Waste Management though, with the advent of AI and robotics, and what that's going to do with waste management, because it's very labor intensive.
How much money did they make in the first quarter of 2025?
WM?
Yeah,
I'm sure it's up there.
I'll find out for you. Hey, Meta, how much revenue did Waste Management make in the first quarter of 2025?
You talking to your glasses?
6.02 billion.
Yep.
Yeah, I just
got 6.02 billion with a 637 net profit.
I just got that from my glasses, by the way, and that's part of my answer, because my answer, I think I would be leaning towards Meta.
Really? So you're gonna stick with Facebook?
Crazy, right? It's just
no, I don't think it's crazy.
Because it's not just Facebook; it's the fact that IG, WhatsApp, all of these are billion-dollar brands, and just the amount of data they have that we just consistently give them day in and day out. What's the last day you think you may have got up and didn't go to Facebook or IG or WhatsApp? What's the last day you think and you're like, you didn't use a Meta product?
I'm feeling bad about this because I actually hate Meta.
Even so this is coming from somebody that hates them. Somebody that hates them. What's the last day that you didn't use a Meta product?
I don't know. I don't know. I need to go on a fast.
I think the last time I went a day without using one of Meta's products was like 2006.
Yeah, how about that?
Think about it.
Right before Facebook came online.
No, 2008. Whenever I signed up for Facebook, it was either 2008 or 2006, whatever it was. Facebook was online in 06. When I first got Facebook, I had to use my .edu to get it. It was before it was open to anybody but college students. So I remember having to use my .edu. So I think it was like it was either between 06 and 08. It was one of them.
All right. Well, let's take a minute to get to the people. We'll celebrate.
But that's the last time. The day I signed up for Facebook is the last day that I went a day without using the Meta product. Because even sometimes when I'm traveling, I may not be on Facebook or IG, but I use WhatsApp.
And you're probably always on IG because we have several group chats on our IG.
But we also got group chats on WhatsApp, right? So it's like,
yeah. How about that? What's up, Jarrell? Yeah. Miss Maui says you can't feel grateful for things in which you feel entitled. Oh, that's a bar.
Okay. She preaching this Wednesday.
I mean, that wasn't my fault, Don, but yeah.
No, that wasn't your fault. He was trying to have the Trauma Olympics out here, man.
What up, Jigga? No, actually, I wasn't. But what's up, Darren?
Darren, what's good?
Everything is everything.
Rest in power.
Damn, man. Listen, man. We got to do a moment of silence for that young boy.
Yeah, man. That's.
I was heartbroken to hear him that he died, that he was murdered. He was robbed. There's footage of it out there from him being murdered on Mother's Day. And yeah, it is a bad look for the city. However, I was talking to a friend of ours, Karan, and he reminded me, and he's right, anybody can get it. And that's the insanity of living in many of these trauma-filled environments. Just saying.
I'm not laughing at what happened. Y'all know what I'm laughing at. I caught y'all caught what he just did right
Yes,
there.
I did. But that's why I said it though, right? What we are going through is total fucking insanity.
It's a war going on outside no man is safe from, right?
Correct.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. Rest in peace to that young man. He was a genuine dude too. I met him in person. We had a conversation. In fact, the event that I met him at is the event that, I'm doing again next week that Kamari's supposed to be doing, but he ain't filled his paperwork out yet. So, him and Karan is BSing. But anyway, so we do an event every year when we go to the Youth Study Center and we spend time with the brothers behind the wall and, speak life into them and talk, about what's going on in the world. And that's how I know the young boy was real, because he was there and there was no cameras there, but he was there giving his time, which is the most valuable asset that anybody can have, talking to the young boys, from the street who was doing time. And by the way, we're supposed to be doing it again next week. So I'm only saying that because I'm trying to put pressure on Kamari to fill out his paperwork.
I'm gonna do it today. You're right.
Okay, I'm just saying, but the point is, getting back to that though, I met the young man there, giving his time, and he was pleading with the young brother to stay out of the way. So and everybody can see from the content he created, he was different, man. He was one of the ones, man. So rest in peace to him. It's a huge loss for the city. Man, he's got to do better, man.
It's a loss for the city and it's a loss for the Black community overall.
Yes. Jim, have you checked out? All right, so I have checked it out. We talked about this a couple weeks ago too. I haven't allocated any resources to it. I do know a lot of people that have, and I understand why, because it's paying over 100% annually. It's just, for me, I'd rather have my sats. Now I know some people say, well, just put your money there and you can use that to buy. I'm afraid of the value of it, and that's just me personally. It's just me personally. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. I'm not saying you should do it. When things are too good to be true, I stay away from it. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep it.
Maybe I'll put $100 on it. a little young bet.
And by the way, it's a lesson in that too. We can come back to this as we get to the comments about this video that prompted today's show and what you just said. But Jamil says, my old dude worked at General Dynamics in the early 80s. Was he taking any equity though? Did he get a piece of the pie?
Hopefully he did the employee stock purchase program.
Yeah.
These companies have them, and a lot of times people miss out on them.
What's that called? The ESOP? What's it? Employee stock?
No, it's not. It's ESOP is different, but it's along the same lines. And ESOP is employee stock ownership program.
Okay.
So that's when the actually employees are working to own the company, in a more meaningful way than just owning the stock.
Yes.
Employee stock purchase program is when employees get a discount off the stock price when companies give it to their employees, or it's a benefit they give the companies to, give them a little extra advantage to buy the stock. I think everybody, if you work at a publicly traded company and there's I just said it. I said it and I lost it that quick. An employee stock purchase program, you should take advantage of it. You should take advantage of it.
Yes, you should.
All right, Brendel. Afternoon. Says, I got a question. I need some financial advice. So we do not give financial advice, but we will take the question and we will give you our perspective. There is no advice given on the show, brother.
Educational, informational purposes only.
Right. We don't want to get sued. We do not want to get sued.
We are not your fiduciaries. I'm going to put that out there.
But let her rip. Let's talk about it. All right. What's up, Simone? Funny you bring up the paint company. I feel like there's secretly a cartel.
That's how I feel about Arby's.
No, I think Arby's is bigger than a cartel. They just a straight front. Because ain't nobody ever in the daggone thing.
Here's the wildest thing about Arby's, right? The wildest thing about Arby's is, outside of the fact there's no one, seemingly no one ever there. Anytime someone I know that goes there, they always like, they never have anything bad to say about it. Like, no one ever says, yo, their food sucks or whatever. They're like, no, it's pretty good actually, but it's rarely anyone there.
I wouldn't say that. So again, going back
again. I don't know.
So my dad used to like to go there. I don't know why. He liked they would make a Reuben of all the places. He would have me take him there to get a Reuben.
I heard someone say the other day they got like I think it's either waffle, some sort of fries.
Fries. Yeah, they're okay.
Okay.
What's up, Edie?
How are you?
Microsoft and Waste Management was our selection. Yeah, I mean, again, I ain't mad at it. I'm gonna stick with Amazon though. I don't think they're going nowhere. All right, Cosmic Wisdom says I would put it in my Wealthfront account. It allows me to do S&P direct investing, indexing, i.e., own the index of S&P 500. However, Cosmic, you didn't answer the question. Jimmy said no ETFs, no indexing.
Yeah, no index funds.
You gotta make a pick. What's the pick?
At this point, it's almost like a bet. If you had to bet on one company to be something that can dominate for the next 30 years, what would it be? What company can dominate the next 30 years?
All right, the answer to NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA is going to be around, but I think NVIDIA, somebody's coming behind to take that market share. Will they be good enough to defend it? I don't know. But people are coming. Too much money there.
I just want to shout out Supplement, you know what I'm saying, the black-owned bottle company that, who are now sponsors of the Black Wealth Rebels. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and I want to drop our link in the chat, by the way. You know what I'm saying? You see it in the chat. If you guys want to support us, you can always go cop a supplement bottle. This is, as good as any of your Contigos or any of the, brands that the Walkers are responsible for. This is a black-owned company that makes a quality bottle, and they ship out pretty fast too. So shout out to Supplement, and we want to say thank you to Supplement for supporting our mission at the Black Wealth Rebels, because it's very important to us. You get the great pick, Mike. Yeah. So my question is this though: if you had to pick one company to dominate from today for the next 30 years, what company would that be?
Uno.
What company?
If I had 5 bands around April, it definitely would have been put in NVIDIA. That's interesting. That's interesting. Hey, lady, how you doing? Where can we invest $5K now? Can't change the past. Honestly, a lot of those companies that are on that list are still $5K worthy investments, in my opinion. What do you think, Jim?
You can take it to the street, and but
come on, man, keep your mind on the.
I'm sorry. There are a lot of different places. I mean, listen, I know people hate this because it sounds like I'm speaking of a nefarious organization, but Blackstone or BlackRock, right? I'll give you one of my favorite REITs, Digital Realty, right? I think that's the quality investment because cloud computing, dog. I sat in a meeting on the real estate side, and I'm looking at the price per square foot of like cloud computing, and it's like some of the highest price per square foot in the entire industry. That's in any sort of land or building you can buy. And as AI becomes more prominent, I mean, even as crypto is prominent, all these things robotics, because like I told you before, despite what people think, the cloud isn't in the cloud. The cloud is on the land. Meaning those server rooms, and that stuff is costly. It's very costly.
But you know what? We probably should do a whole separate video on this alone. Just talking about that. Because there's a couple of different picks. For example, I think Microsoft will be good to go for the next 30 years. I think Home Depot will be good to go for the next 30 years. I think Lowe's will be good to go for the next 30 years. I think Walmart will be good to go for the next 30 years.
And not investment advice, but that company, Digital Realty, is DLR, is their ticker symbol. And I agree with you. I think WMT, because the one thing I say about WMT, they invest in tech. I know you did. I'm co-signing you. I'm actually giving you props. Calm down. They invest in technology.
I'm so not used to that.
No, I'll give you props every year. least once.
It's my trauma response. Excuse me.
All right, so I was trying to look up the company. I saw Diamond. Shout out to Diamond Dave, too. Absolute legend is in the chat.
What up, Diamond?
He said RSG, which is Republic Services. That's a waste management company too, I believe. I want to look them up and make sure I got the right company. Environmental services in the United States and Canada, collection processing of recyclable solid waste. It is a waste management company.
Yeah.
They got 42,000 employees. They are trading at $238 per share right now.
They're a $74 billion company. That's their market cap. Into the bag.
Speaking of, right? So I told you I was at a tech event this morning, literally all day from like 10 to like 5. I was at this tech event and it was put on by Salesforce. And I'm just watching like and learning about the company and some of their products. Obviously, they were just trying to sell me stuff, but I was like just asking questions and looking at the company and how they operate. They're a machine, yo. They have other Fortune 500 companies who are built on the back of them. Like they almost have like, I don't want to say open source because you pay for software that other billion-dollar companies build on the back of their software and they get a piece of it. They have multiple companies that way. And I'm like, I didn't realize just how big Salesforce is, but they're more than $250 billion company.
Yes, sir.
But when I saw just how integrated they are, because it's like other companies that like people buy their products and you don't realize that they're running on the back of Salesforce. And it's like, hold up. Yeah, so I was just learning about just where they were. So it's a lot of interesting picks in the chat though.
Over the last, I'm looking at Salesforce's track record stock wise. Mm-hmm. So since June 25th, 2024, Salesforce has returned 7,260.51%.
Oh, you said percent?
Yes. So that's what 31 years, right? So again, that's another one, right? There's a couple, not a couple. There's a good many of stocks over the long haul that are solid businesses who are kicking butt and taking names, and nobody's thinking about it because while Salesforce is still techie, it's still a sales application. It's kind of boring.
I mean, listen, their ticker symbol is literally CRM.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But that's why I always love waste management is because like over the last decade or so, I would say even 20 years, everybody's been so tech and they just been making money. You know what I mean? Like waste management just be making money with like dealing with trash. I love companies like that who aren't the sexy pick or the sexy company. They just have a business that just goes out there and makes money.
Yeah, I like boring picks. Listen, the real money is always being boring stuff. The things that are forgotten, nobody's thinking about. All righty. So where we at now? He says, my condolences. Thank you. Appreciate that. Anthony says Jimmy thinks he is Tony Starks talking to Jarvis with his meta glasses on.
Here's the crazy part, right? So I'm teaching a continuing education class on June 13th up this way, and I've been doing some research, and in my research, it actually has me a little scared because I've fully embraced AI. So I use it on my glasses, I use it on my computer, my phone, in terms of like just enhancing my work. I really feel like I told Kamari this. I feel like I don't know what they're going to make the fee eventually, but I feel like I have an assistant at a cheaper rate. I say that to say this. My research says that they've been doing tests and your cognitive functions actually slow down the more that you dump off to AI, right? And I'm like, I walk around with the glasses and I feel like I can ask it a question anytime. I don't use calculators. I can look up geography. I can do all kinds of stuff. And it's like, am I hurting myself though in the long run? And I think about that because I've been just dumping a lot of stuff off that, because I really feel like I have an assistant. Yo, go do this for me. Go do that for me while I focus on the things that, are more important. But in not doing those things, am I harming myself long term? Because like I said, there are studies out there that show it's almost like if you don't, how you hear the old term, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it.
Correct.
And there's studies that show when you dump so many things off, your cognitive function slows down. There's actually a higher level of dementia in people who use technology and they dump so many things off on it. So it's a lot to that. Yeah. So
that's interesting.
But the glasses are a game changer. I ain't gonna hold you though.
All right, so Ms. Edie says living in trauma-filled environments. Yes, indeed. It's definitely something to cry about.
It is.
What up, Nicole? Welcome. All right, the fellas in my avatar know how to turn 5,000 to a million as well. Who's in the avatar? That's Money Making Rich, bitch.
Yo,
that's AZ.
I think the funniest part about that is main man was getting all that money, but he still was living in his mom crib, sharing a room with his little brother.
Don't forget about Ice.
You can't join the problem. It was really good.
What would you do with 200K liquid?
Well, I'll probably have half of it in cash. By cash, I mean Bitcoin, but I digress. All depends, though. To answer your question, and by the way, this is not investment advice. It depends upon what else you got going on. You can have 200K liquid, but do you have anything else? Right? Because if you already have a well-balanced portfolio, you already got $1 million in stock, maybe you already own. So it's like, I would need more information. Or is a 200K liquid, is that your entire,
He said liquid, so I'm going to go with liquid. So what I would do, I would build out a full-fledged studio. State of the art. Me and Jimmy will be in there lamping.
No, but my question is, though, right, you say 200K liquid, but I don't know if that's his whole war chest. So he just got, because sometimes, like, I could have 200K liquid.
I'm assuming 200K is a number.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
All right, well, first
you
off,
would do what somebody else would do would be different. Jimmy already got 200K liquid, though.
But, yo, you keep trying to put me on a platter, dog. Listen, here's what I say, though. The first thing you got to do is think with a clear head. So I would say you got $199,960 because the first $40 you got to go get a clear head with. After that's taken care of, by my fault. For education and entertainment only, I agree with Arby's.
All right, good.
My husband likes Arby's and he gets the Reubens. All right, so the Reubens is popping out here in these streets, man.
It wasn't nothing to tone mama about.
You're an Arby's hater, man. Shout out to Arby's, man. Put that Pusha T released a diss song on McDonald's through Arby's.
Listen, I've been hating on Arby's for years on my Facebook. People hate me for it.
They have lamb and the meat is real and delicious. They aren't publicly traded. Hold up, they got lamb at Arby's?
Is it real lamb?
I had lamb. Maybe I don't know the one that fully got lamb, dog.
Or is it synthetic lamb? All right, Steve says Arby's is a money laundering operation. White folks don't be in Arby's like that for it still to be open today. I would agree, but I didn't say that. That was a comment from the audience. Arby's is not bad at all.
I'm telling you, no one's ever said anything bad about the food other than Kamari. A lot of people still think that fries were good. A lot of people think it's a drug, but
All right.
Amazon too. They go down.
Me and Dave on the same wavelength, baby.
Hey man, listen,
I'm on to something.
Diamond Dave is a legend, man.
What about SoFi? We were just talking about SoFi.
We were talking about SoFi last night, right? So Jerome, shout out to you.
Matter of fact, Jimmy's going to share the SoFi link we have as well.
Hey, listen, did you hold on, real quick? Did you or did you not set up your SoFi account yet?
I started it. You
started everything, bro. You didn't sign up for the youth next week. You started that too.
Man, you conflating right now, man.
Okay. Anyway, Jerome, I'm gonna tell you how the conversation started. We were talking about various brokerages because Kamari hates CompuShare, but we were talking about brokerages that we actually like. My main brokerage, and again, being transparent, I use is Schwab, but I have set up a SoFi account over the last couple of years, and I was telling him how much I love SoFi because their user interface is beautiful, and I felt like all the things I loved about Robinhood, right? It's like SoFi took that, but all the things I hated about Robinhood is like SoFi fixed that, right?
And Jimmy definitely hates Robinhood.
Because there were certain things about like how they would. Now I've heard people told me that they've gotten better over the years. Like they're consistently improving too. But it's almost like SoFi looked at them and was like, all right, they got this right, and they got this wrong. We're going to do all this. And that's how I feel about SoFi. Their platform is beautiful. It's easy to maneuver. They got loans and checking and saving and all in one. It's just a beautiful platform. So from a consumer standpoint, I like it. This stock was popping too because I know I had some leaps a while ago when I cashed out, and I probably left several thousand on the table because they over. I looked this day, it was like over $14.
Yeah,
when
they like 14.
When I bought the leaps, so far I was trading like $2 or $3, and I bought in the money leaps, and I made some money and I sold it. But I think I sold it before they was like $7 when I sold it. I'm looking today, I'm like, yo, they're 14. Them leaps would have been worth a fortune, but it is what it is.
Today, SoFi is trading at 1403, closed at 1403. Year to date, it is down 0.71%.
Interesting.
So maybe the leaps could still be a thing, but this is not investment advice.
But here's a problem, though. When you sell out of a leap and you make money, right, it's hard to buy back into a leap at that number. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying you should either, but it's difficult to do. When I was sitting on $1 leap like a couple of years ago, it's hard to now rebuy in at $14. Anyway, let's get back to the comments, though, man.
All right, Don Johnson.
Maybe supplier paying to all the DoD equipment. You guys, so I was talking about them contracts.
Yep. CrowdStrike. That's a good one. Yeah.
To be honest, I love Arby's, and I got the Reuben as well. Most Arby's are located near hospitals and truck stops. This explains a lot.
I got it. I'm gonna try it. Rate it 1 through 10. Oh, Anthony, what do you rate it 1 through 10?
Hey man, listen, that's what a lot listeners go get their grub at.
Wow, that's interesting. That is very interesting.
So that is interesting. I mean, I don't know about. I can't put nothing by him though, because
but think about the way the world's going. It's going more into fantasy. All of those things, all of those companies he just named are fantasy plays, kind of, sort of, right? No, just all my wrestling fans out there, but
TKO is the parent company of all those.
Correct. But I'm just saying we're getting more into that.
Hey, listen, man. Fantasy is what we want, but reality is what we need. That's what Lauryn Hill said. That was on the Unplugged. That was on the Unplugged album, the one you don't care about. But
What about Constellation? I know Constellation is an energy company. I haven't followed this.
Constellation Brands.
Oh, Constellation Brands.
That's what I'm thinking she's talking about.
But it's also energy stock. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Constellation Brands makes alcohol, right? Hold on, let me look it up. Constellation Brands, they do, they make alcohol. That's all right. So I'm not wrong.
Okay, I also want to add
Corona.
I want to add another ticker symbol to the mix for the next 30 years.
What's that?
BRK.B. I am an owner now, and I was looking at the numbers. Oh, goody. They've been kicking ass.
Yo, Amari told me last night, he said, yo, I copped a share just so we can go to the meeting next year. So what I do today, I wouldn't cop me a share too. I mean, you ain't gonna be the only one, so let's get it. So I just want to go one.
Tell them what we're talking about, though. Tell them what we're talking about.
Berkshire Hathaway. So I already had exposure to it through Top T, you know what I'm saying, my favorite holding, but I wanted to get an individual share so we can apply to go to the meeting next year. So, I bought the BRKB share. I copped it this morning, So we'll see what happens, man. We shall see what happens.
So I would love to see other folks in the village cop a share too, and we all go out there and mob out.
Oh, let's do that. Let's have fun. We're gonna go to the joint 30 deep to the Berkshire meeting.
And guess what? Ribeye steaks on Jimmy. Everybody.
Listen, y'all pull up. I got y'all. Side note, Omaha got a black mayor now.
Yes, they do.
That don't even sound right.
So I've been to Omaha. I drove across the country in 2017 with my dad. Omaha was one of the stops. And they got a hood there.
It's a hood everywhere, but they got a black mayor now. Is he considered the illest?
I don't know. I'm not in politics.
Is he the illest Libyan in Nebraska?
Now, name the movie Jimmy is talking about. Name the movie. All right. Comcast uses Salesforce. Didn't know that, but I'm not surprised.
Listen, they are behind so many other companies that I didn't as I was watching it, I'm like, man, shout out to Comcast. Comcast dominates our local market. The best companies are boring. Look at PG. Nobody talks about the stock, but everybody uses their product.
Sir, wait. I think you're a sir. We talk about PG all the time. I think 2 shows ago we were just talking about.
Yeah, Procter and Gamble. You know.
Yeah, we were just talking about that like 2
not
shows ago.
Not to be confused with Gamble and Huff.
That was a stretch.
It is. No, it's not really a stretch. I was just watching a video today, which was crazy. Like, when you on Instagram, sometimes like people find these old like videos that you've never seen before, and it's like, what? It was a video of Gamble and Huff. They was like 12th in race with like Michael Jackson when he was in the Jackson 5. And it was just wild watching Michael walk down 12th in race, and he was talking about how he was in the town to work with Gamble and Huff.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is crazy. But anyway.
I mean, there's a lot of footage out there of Mike coming to Philly, working with Gamble and Huff, working with the OJs. So yeah, Philly.
Look, Mike Tyson used to be in Philly all the time. I met Mike Tyson one time downtown, and I was with my grandmother, and he was the nicest guy. I was like, that's how I know this dude got like some sort of switch, because he was like so nice. Like, he helped my grandma across the street. He was talking to her, and she was like, he's such a beautiful guy. I was like, Mike, I was scared. This boy's a scary dude. But anyway, I say all that to say, all the Mikes hang out in Philly, but Take-Two Interactive is going strong based on GTA Online and the arrival of Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out next May 2026 for the next 10 years. First off, I'll believe it when I see it. GTA 6 is like, what's Dr. Dre's album that we've been waiting for? What comes out first? What's the Dre album that he's been promising for the last year? I mean, Detox.
I don't know. What
comes out first? Detox or GTA 6?
Who knows?
You can look at SQL code using AI and have it explain what it did and how it got that code. Yes, you can.
You can do that with Python as well, and many other coding languages also.
R, SPSS. But here's the thing, though. Here's what I realized about that, though. There's a whole, by the way, you can look this up. There's a whole trend in Silicon Valley that they call vibe coding, right? Where dudes are getting jobs as coders and programmers, and they don't know how to do anything. They're just using AI, but they call it vibe coding. That's what they do now. So I'm a vibe coder. But the thing is, you have to know how to prompt. And what I realize is a lot of people aren't great at prompting. So if you don't know how to prompt, and you still have to understand what it is you're asking for, because if you just go out there vibe coding, you're just getting code, you can really get yourself in trouble.
Gotcha. Shelby says, I've seen what the rich people drive and the poor people drive, but in reverse, LOL. Okay.
Yeah. No, he's probably talking about the video you try to put me out there, man. You're trying to put me on the Twitter, man. Mm-hmm. I'm broke, baby.
Listen, I just brought, matter of fact, I'm going to do a video about that. I'm having like all kind of car problems. And so instead of getting a car note, because I ain't doing car notes right now, because my son's about to go to school, I brought me another Korean special.
What'd you buy?
2 days ago. Literally.
What you buy?
What you saw me with? The Kia.
Oh, the car last night?
Yeah.
I thought you already had that. You got so many cars. You got so many cars, bro.
And they're all breaking the hell down right now. All of them.
You got so many cars.
All of them. Oh, shucks. Here we go. Kate Lang says, what up, fellas? I lost a little respect for Kamari. By the way, it's Kamari with a C. I lost a little respect for Kamari today. What I done did.
He's probably talking about that. I think because I saw him on a post when we was talking about
what I done did.
But Kev, here's the thing you don't understand about that, Kev. You probably lost respect for me too, because that's one thing that me and Kamari actually agree on, right? And for those who don't know what we talking about at all, there's a post on our page, on the Black Waffle Rose page, my personal page, Kamari's page. We were having a debate, because we had a debate online. It started online about who has the best verse in Secret Garden. And by the way, Corey's the one that disagreed with us. He had no idea what's going on with Corey. He said he was having computer issues. But anyway, Corey was telling us, and he's actually on the post saying it too, that El DeBarge has the best verse on Secret Garden. And me and Kamari actually agree that James Ingram bodied everybody. But I think Kev fell on the side of like Barry White, I believe.
I think that post is going by the wayside of popularity. Because a lot of people knew about James Ingram, but they didn't know about James Ingram. And so everybody knew about El DeBarge. Everybody knew about Barry White. Everybody knew about Albie Shaw, by the way. Nobody really. I saw
I one person. Albie was cool too, but no, Albie got no votes. Albie clearly has the least amount of love. But
and by the way, I saw Albie. It seems like he's here for the smoke now too. But
oh yeah. A side note, it's funny. One of my homies saw the post and he was like, getting older and maturing is realizing that James Ingram has the best verse. He said, when you're younger and you listen to the song, you're going to say Barry White at Elder Bar. He said, but when you get older, you realize like he really outsung everybody on there. I was like, maybe it is maturity, but yeah. So Kev, hopefully you lose no respect for me too. But if you did, it's cool. Because
we got to figure out if that's what he's talking about though. Because he picked me out, he singled me out. So
I know that's what he's talking about because I saw him on the post. Kev be out here getting too much money, so when I see him on the post, that's why I know he's talking about. What up, Don? Palantir.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that.
CEO
Trey with the $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. 200K? Question mark. I'm dropping my mixtape. Spending big dough on West Coast product. Wait a minute. Spending big dough on West Coast Productions. Bet I do numbers. Hey, man, I ain't mad at you. I'm not mad at you. Thank you for the $5 super chat.
Salute. The CEO of Palantir is a Central High graduate, so I'm just going to leave that there.
Okay. What up, Jabbar?
Wow, it's really good.
Ticker symbol WCP.
All right, so what he's saying, I got to let everybody in on a joke. He said ticker symbol is WCP for West Coast Productions. And if you don't know what West Coast Productions is, that's a good thing.
Show up on Friday.
People do rich things.
Jimmy will bring up WCP on Friday.
What about Kamari Rich? You know what I'm saying? Buying new cars when he feel like it.
I brought a hoopty. I brought a Korean special. I don't know what you're talking about. Listen, I can't justify buying a new car right now. And actually, I was having some real heart-to-heart talk with myself. I've never really had a brand new car or a really, really nice car. And as I'm getting up to an age, I got to figure out a hustle just to set some money aside so I can get a nice car.
What you trying to cop?
I want to ride around on a Lexus, brand new.
Yeah, you out of pocket, bro. All right, I give Arby's a strong 7.5 out of 10, which is a very good rating for fast food. That's not for fast food. Hey, listen, that's a C plus.
So is it better than Chick-fil-A, Anthony? What do you say? Don't say that, Jim. I'm asking him. Because we all know Jimmy loves the Chick-fil-A.
I do, but if I'm being honest, though, I do feel like Chick-fil-A's falling off a little bit. I know that's crazy coming from me.
That is crazy coming from you.
I was telling my wife that the other day. I was like, I don't know. The last couple of times I had it, it just don't hit the same. I'm like, it's something going on. I feel like the more popular they become, it's like everything else, dog. Like the quality goes. It's like Wawa now. Like Wawa used to be amazing, but the more they expanded Wawa, the worse it's getting. Anyway, I'm sorry.
It's too many around.
I'm going to talk about food, but
Famous drive. This is what poor people drive.
Come on, man.
And that's what Bar was talking about. It's
all good, though. It's all good. I mean, he ain't speaking on the other video where you talked about liking white women, though.
That's not. No, you're lying now. So here's the difference between Jimmy and I, right? We all told you.
You got a lie right there.
All of my jokes are rooted in facts. All of Jimmy's jokes are rooted in lies.
That's not true.
How it was. Listen, go to the Black Wolf Rebels IG story. Somebody brought up vanilla. I said I wanted some vanilla. I wasn't talking about a woman. I was talking about vanilla chocolate. That's it.
Listen, man, you like a walker, that's on you, man. By the way, Kamari got me reading this book. Y'all. It's pretty good. I could recommend it just so we can have a conversation about it. And that's what it's called. It's called Sky Full of Elephants. Because I do got some thoughts, but I don't want to give you my thoughts yet, Kamari, till I finish. All right,
we're going to do a review together then.
I'm about 75% of the way done, but I definitely got some thoughts.
All right, because I've been waiting to do a review on this. Since you're done, we can do it together.
I'll be done this week. Because that's what I'm into. Because I just got a new book today, but I don't want to start it till I finish that one. That Malcolm X, the new Malcolm X book just dropped today.
What's it called?
I'm going to give you the title right this moment. It's called The Afterlife of Malcolm X. And it's talking about, it goes into a little bit about his history, but also his brand and how his brand has evolved from where it was when he died to now. Because I think a lot of times, I think it's interesting because a lot of times, not just him, with a lot of our, black leaders, it's almost like, how can I say this in the right way? A lot of our people wait for other folks to validate them before we show them love, and that's what I want to say. And that's kind of what this book gets into. It gets into how certain leaders, and specifically Malcolm in this case, how he was looked at not only by the majority of folks, but even our community. And once other people kind of rebranded him and made him more palatable, now it's okay for us to be like, yeah, Malcolm, like, and that happens often.
Often. All right, Nicole says more specific constellation software. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of that, but let's talk to the Googles.
Yeah, Malcolm had a crazy rebrand. You think one day we're gonna get a Mumia rebrand?
Listen, anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Side note, I learned something new about Mumia last night that I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know that. And shout out to Ernest Owens, who
shout out to the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists, the very first Black journalist / media organization in the country.
They are the very first Black media organization in the entire country, the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists, and Kamari sits on the board. I'm just putting it out there because he ain't gonna tell y'all that, but he sits on the board.
I don't see how that's relevant, but okay.
I mean, you sit on the board.
I do, because I do believe in it. I do believe in it.
The first African American media company in the world. You sit on the board. That's an accomplishment, brother.
Well, it's not the first media company, but it's the first organization to fight for black journalism, Black inclusion, and all of that.
But you sit on the board. But I want to shout out Ernest because he made a joke last night. But in his joke, I learned a little bit. He was saying how people talk about how radical he is as the president of the organization. He's like, but I'm by no far the most radical, because Mumia was once the leader or the president of it. I didn't know that. I had no idea.
Yep, he was. I mean, he kind of got they threw him under the bus a little bit. They didn't want to talk about him because they felt it wasn't a good look. Listen, we deal with respectability politics on a whole lot of levels. Wrong, or indifferent, right? In my opinion, I don't think you should judge people like that. But
respectability politics is something that I hate, but it's going to sound rare too. I understand it, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because a lot of it is rooted in fear, and people just want to be left alone. They want to feel safe. They want to feel secure. But it's so. Man, that's a difficult conversation. That's a whole show.
Well, it's fear, and it's a way that some people make their money. So that's it's still no, but they're both still kind of rooted in fear, though, because the fear of losing a way to sustain yourself is part of that.
I saw, speaking of, and this is no shots at any gentleman or shots, I don't care because I'm not disrespecting them, but I just thought it was hilarious. I was clicking on YouTube and I saw like a panel. They had like a StreamYard joint. It was Jason Whitlock, right? Dr. Boyce Watkins, and like Anton Daniels.
Who's Anton Daniels?
You know the boy. What's the boy's name? I think that's his name. Let me see. I was like, yo, this panel, that is him. That's the boy. You know him, the one that
yeah. Come on. Yeah.
But that panel was like, hold up. I said, I'm not even clicking on this because this is gonna piss me off. Because first of all, Jason Whitlock by himself gonna say something outlandish.
So I think Jason Whitlock might be the whitest black man ever to be born.
But it was him, your man Boyce, and I'm like, hold up. I don't know what they're talking about, but I don't even want to,
All right, Jarrell says, ain't T-Bud for there? Yes, he is.
Okay, so he the realest Libyan in Nebraska. Then I take that back. Whoa! Nobody said an A share, by the way. Don't put. See, you really I said a B share.
B.
Listen, man. I'm not a poor man. I am poor, but I can't wake up and buy A share. I don't know anybody can wake up and buy A share.
Jimmy, if you didn't lose your Bitcoin in a boating accident, could you then trade some of those in and get an A share?
I wouldn't be able to answer that because I don't have any Bitcoin, but I digress.
I know. I said the ones you lost in your voting.
Nah. I got a B share, bar. Let's just put that on the record. It was a B share. It was half a stack. You know what I mean? You know, so yeah, that was it. Detox. Yeah, Detox or GTA 6. Which comes out first?
Who knows? CT guy, where you been, man? Where you been?
Hold up.
Welcome.
I've been to the Berkshire annual meeting. Have a photo with Charlie Munger. Just so you know, you have to have at least one A share or the equivalent of one A share or the B share equivalent. So not from my understanding, because I know people that went and all they had was a B share. They didn't have A share, and they definitely didn't have the A share equivalent of B shares. So I don't know if that's true. Let's find out. But because I know people that went that don't have that, so I don't think you have to have the equivalent. Hold up, real quick though.
CT guy stunning on us though. He's just stunning on us. He just stunning on us. That was a hard stunt.
Yeah, it just occurred to me. If you said that, that means that you have an A share or you have the B share equivalent of A shares. All right, CT, you just really stunning on us real crazy right there.
But no, shout out to CT guy, because I've been sitting with this. This is a letter CT guy sent us, and I'm going to frame this because I'm so appreciative of it. And he sent us our first 100, so I'm going to frame the CT guy your letter.
No, actually,
it meant the world to us. So
I'm on the Berkshire site now. You can get in with a B share. You don't need to have an A share or B share equivalent.
Maybe that was the rule for back in the day.
It says, in fact, having one single share of Class B stocks grants you access to the meeting. I think CT was just trying to stun on us, and you did. You won.
You won. All LCT.
You only one share of BRKA. No, righteous indignation. I own a B share. Because listen, I only bought it today because Kamari told me yesterday you got to buy a B share. All right, cool. I buy a B share. No, so I don't own an A share.
What up, D? D, I think this is your first time I ever see you in the comments. What up, baby?
What up, though? Can it still make me a millionaire?
Some of it, yes. Investing for the long haul, yes. I think a lot of those stocks, and again, this is not investment advice, but a lot of those stocks invested for the next 20, 30 years can still make you a lot of money. I mean, Jimmy loves Bitcoin. Jimmy is the Bitcoin guy. Jimmy is so, not Jimmy, Bitcoin is still in infancy. So could Bitcoin turn out some more millionaires in the next 20, 30 years? Maybe.
So CT, that's not true either. I'm looking it up now on their site. You can ask a question even with a B share.
I just want to be in the building.
Yeah, I don't care to ask a question either, but I'm reading about it. And I didn't realize either. So the questions are submitted to CNBC ahead of time, and CNBC decides what questions get asked. That's interesting too.
Shelby Petty. Shelby says ChatGPT says Barry's verse was the best verse.
I mean, it's probably the most notable because of how, and he was talking crazy.
You.
That's what a man is supposed to do. Like, so I get it, but that's why I said, like, when you realize that. And by the way, Barry wasn't even singing that song; he was just talking to him.
Starbucks. So, all right. So, James, I'm guessing that's what you will hold for the next 30 years. Starbucks.
So, Starbucks is an interesting company too, right? Because they're a bank. They're in great space in terms of like just maintaining a quality business. But I often wonder
how long it's going to last.
What is their moat, right? Because they necessarily don't have a moat. And if someone comes up that can compete with them in any sort of different way, I see people like I don't know what their moat is.
I don't know. A couple of years ago, I would have said the moat is the environment. The atmosphere, but that's not so much the case now. So
I don't go to Starbucks. I go to Coffee, Creams, and Dreams.
Shout out to Coffee, Creams, and Dreams. We will be there June 14th for our next podcast and Cashbox.
Hey,
all right, Don Johnson says Chick-fil-A is trash.
I'm not gonna debate you right now. Don, in the past I would have debated you. Right now I'm just gonna say God bless. Hey, Kamari, did you get the site updated yet though?
No, I did not.
Okay, all right. I just want to put that on the record.
Listen, man, I'm going through trauma myself. I'm getting cussed out by clients. for unjust cause, but it is what it is. The cost of being in business.
It's not better than Chick-fil-A. What she order? All right. Okay, what's the next one? Arby's is the #1 seller of gyros in the country, and their white cheddar mac and cheese is shitting on Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese. Hella creamy with the W's. Yo, y'all out of pocket for one. Yo, people give flowers in death but throw ish in life. Kobe is the most recent example. That's a great one, Don, because people
down with
hate
the bars. Down with the bars.
Yo, people forget just how crazy it was. Like, people hated boy. Hated him.
All right, Don says
it was weird as hell. Yeah, I couldn't even click with him, but I saw who was on there though. I was like, I know this is wild.
And they all are, in my opinion, the king. They are the Mount Rushmore of respectability politics.
But I mean, honestly though, I'm not a slander any of them gentlemen. They could do what they want to do. It's none of my business. But when you said that is what made me think about the fact that I saw it.
When I said what?
We were talking about respectability politics, and you said that for some people, it's a way to make $4.
Oh, so then you agree with me then? Because that's what made you think about it. Listen, man.
I'll be honest. I'll be completely transparent. And listen, no shade to him either, because listen, he can do what he want to do too. Listen, everybody got a part to play. Back to yours, in the words of Sean Carter. But he's the first name I think of when you say that. Is as we call him in one of my group chats, we call him Shitlock. In fact, when people refer to him, they put the poop emoji. They put the poop emoji and then the lock emoji when they refer to him. They be like, anyway.
All right, we got to that.
Look it up, because I bought it in 2004. A share that I sold my company. Hold
on, hold my beer.
CT, you still got it?
Hold my beer.
Let's go, CT guy.
Hold my beer.
No, hey CT guy, let's go. All right, now I ain't mad at you. You bought it in 2004 after I sold my company. It's good. So, and by the way, thank you for pulling it up again, and thank you for the gift as always. That gift is going to be it's a legendary gift for us.
Yes, we appreciate it.
But what's interesting about
it was somewhere between $29,164.50 to a high of $30,090. So,
yeah. So what's interesting about that though is I just finished that book, the one I told you I was reading about Edward O. Thorpe, and he was a Berkshire guy early on. He met Buffett in the 60s, so he knew him personally. And after talking to him, he was like, when it went public, he was like, I got to be a part of this. And he has so many stories about people. He was telling about an A-share. And one of the things he said, which is interesting, is some people actually took his advice. But what happened was, I think it was Black Monday, he said. When Black Monday happened, it lost so much value that most of the people that, and this is relevant to this whole show, most of the people that took his advice to buy the A-share sold out. And it just because the swing was so dramatic and they couldn't deal with it. And he was like, and I think at the time he wrote this book, it's like 2016, 2017 or whatever, what they would have had versus what they sold out for. And the lesson in that is when you look at all those companies from 5,000 to $1 million, it wasn't a straight ride up. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the part. People always want to like have that, to Don's point, have the hindsight 2020. Because I hear this in Bitcoin all the time. You're lucky because you bought in earlier. You did this, that, and the third. I'm
lucky I put my bread up.
But not only that, I was still around when, taking 50 and, when it went from 60 to 20, I just kept buying more.
Right.
I don't have it anymore. I lost it all. But I'm just saying, like, that's the thing. And the thing is, it's happened with Berkshire too. Someone in the earlier mentioned about NVIDIA and what they would have did with NVIDIA, a couple months ago, because that's when it had dropped. But that's the point. The point is, do you have the stick-to-itiveness to not only buy a great company, but when things go wrong, to do your research and continuously buy or stay in the mix? Because Berkshire had some falls.
What Jimmy is saying is, do you have the testicular fortitude to stick to your guns and keep buying?
Because that's the thing about Berkshire, right? Berkshire has some huge drops, and I think in the book he talks about like that Monday, Black Monday.
Black Monday, yeah.
Folks was jumping out of Berkshire left and right.
So I'm going to read this comment, but I'm going to just say this. It be your own people. It be your own people. But Jimmy, not sure if Kmart invited you to the cookout. I'll be out since his buster ass can't come. But the invite is open, bro, if you're available. Saturday, Memorial Day. So Shelby's going to be up on a farm with his rich ass family out there in white man's land. But he did invite you, Jimmy. Oh, no, he just roasted me. You didn't peep it.
I know, but you didn't say that, though. Like, yo,
I'm saying it. Shelby's my bro, so it's all good.
I gotta see if I'm gonna be here. Let me see. That's a 30. What is it? What day is that?
It's Saturday.
Is it? No, I'm saying that because Memorial Day is
like the 24th or something like that.
Okay, I just gotta see because my birthday is the 27th, and I know that
JT Coins, thank you for the $1.99 super chat, brother.
JT, member of the village. Hey, shout out to the village members.
Thank you.
And by the way, nothing we say on here is investment advice. Kev, appreciate you, beloved, but yeah, we're not anybody's fiduciary.
I mean, you can rely on us, but we're not up to that liability. You can sue us all you want.
I just got invited to speak at somewhere in Vegas next year, so I might be out there next year. I'll let you know, Kev, because Kev get money in Vegas, man. I guess things have changed. Good to know. I'll meet you guys there. We'll be fun. All right, let's get it. Okay. Yeah, they may have changed things because since the A shares probably changed things when the A shares went past six figures because All
right, so CT guy, I'm being newsy now. Do you still own it?
That's the question.
That is the $1 million question.
Because the question really isn't about. We're not trying to count your pockets. I just want to know whether you had the stick-to-itiveness.
Yes,
because that's the lesson right there. They did start falling off, mostly with their fries. I didn't know that. See, it's always something you could tell too. New manufacturer. Crazy to think you have a potato manufacturer at all instead of a potato farmer. Maybe that's the problem. I just read something, and I talked about this on the newest episode of Philadelphia Roham Report, which you can go to phillyrohamreport.com because that's one of my second pods because I'm two pod Shakur. But I talked about inflation and what's known as McDonald's inflation. I saw like a couple of reports and someone that put up a post on Twitter about it, which made me go read about it. You know that before the pandemic, a medium fry at McDonald's was like $1.79. You know what it is today? Take a guess, Kamari.
$3.39.
$4.19.
God damn.
And they have a whole list of McDonald's pre-pandemic and McDonald's post-pandemic, and the numbers are everything. It's just ridiculous, right?
And it ain't number sugar too. But
and what they were saying is a lot of folks don't even want to get in the McDonald's business outside of that now because the profit margins aren't the same. And one of the reasons and it made me think about this when you just said that, McDonald's used to have a thing where if you had a McDonald's in your state, you go to the fry manufacturer in your state. But McDonald's now has their own. They literally have their own potato, and you're forced to get it from this like location wherever that farm is. And so if I'm in Pennsylvania, my cost might be different if I'm right next to a state where that thing is located.
That's wild.
And basically, you got to deal with it because it's more about consistency for them than anything else. But it was an interesting case study in terms of how inflation affects the fast food chain. But McDonald's is not doing it right now.
All right, Anthony says when Boyce got them new teeth, I'm just saying he revealed himself with them piano keys in his mouth. Damn, slander is real. Slander is real.
Hey yo, come on, guys.
What up, Lawrence? Yep, Jimmy just said $4.19 for some fries.
You got the piano keys. Hey, Ed, you are wild, bro.
Super wild.
Yo, Anthony is crazy, bro.
Super wild.
Man.
Super wild.
Oh, man. So Don says that pricing will be the downfall of fast foods. Fast food is no longer cheaper than eating at a restaurant. Hey, listen, man, that's peak capitalism, man. It is what it is.
That's wild.
It is. Yeah, man. So this has been an excellent conversation about long-term investing and buying for the long term. We're going to show the video one more time that prompted the conversation. $5,000 in any one of these individual companies would be worth $1 million today. Now we are talking about over the long haul, though, right? 30 plus years for most of them. Some of them are, Home Depot.
But when you think about this, right, 5,000 people are like, I ain't got 5,000. People don't even have savings. However, you can systematically do this. $200 a month for 2 years, $400 a month for a year. That'll be your $5,000 right there. Give or take a couple bucks. If you could just put that, set it and forget it for the next 30 years, you too could be a billionaire or a millionaire.
You could be like my old head. What's the old head that worked at the car lot?
Oh man, we gotta go over that video.
Mr. I think his name was Mr. Earl. Shout out to Mr. Earl, man. And also, what's the other boy's name too? I think he was a walker though. Ronald Reed. Ronald Reed made millions too. REED. Look up Ronald Reed. Ronald Reed and also Mr. Earl from the parking lot ran the bag up, just playing the game long term.
Yep.
And there was another lady.
They live beneath their means.
What was the lady's name?
And invest, and they keep it pushing.
It was a walker too. She was a lady though, and she died and left it all to a university. I forgot her name, but she ran the bag up crazy too. Let me see if I can find her name, because she was another story that I read. I was like, man, that's inspirational. And let me see, millions to university. And what was crazy about it is they didn't. The university she left it to. The lady, here it is. She was a secretary, I believe.
Wow.
She and one of the other things too, right? She lived to be 96 years old. That helped. Sylvia Bloom. She worked for a law firm for 67 years, right? And when she passed away, she had over $8 million. She left the money for scholarships to school. She never told anybody how much money she had. Actually, she had over $9 million among 3 brokerage houses, 11 banks, and no one knew till she died. And they said when she left the money to the university didn't even know who she was, and they was like, yeah, whatever. They were like even taking their time to get back to her folks, and then they figured out like, yo, she left us millions.
Crazy.
So she was a secretary at a law firm that worked on on Wall Street cases or whatever. So she just basically listened.
But I do think, right, because the point in all of this is, right, long-term investing, being patient, having, being stick-to-itiveness. I think that the Ben Franklin story is relevant as well. Because what Ben Franklin did was he left 1,000 pounds to Philly, 1,000 pounds to Boston, and the rule was they were supposed to just let it sit for like 100 years or 200 years, something like that. But it was worth, I don't forget how many hundreds of millions it was worth.
Well, it was worth, I think Boston had more.
But did they cheat, or Philly cheated? Somebody cheated.
Well, Boston didn't follow his rules directly. Philly followed his rules, because part of his rules were that at a certain point you had to donate to something or something, whatever, but they didn't follow the rules. I don't remember the exact thing about it. Speaking of that, how we always talk about Philadelphia being the poorest big city?
Mm-hmm.
I heard one of our council members say something that I got to do some research on this, but he said that cliche is used too much. He said because one of the reasons that Philadelphia is considered the poorest big city is because we just don't throw out our poor. He was like, other cities have a poverty problem the same way we do, but they literally make it so their poor people aren't in the city. And he used Boston as an example when he said that. And I thought about it. I've been to Boston, and it is true. They kind of push their folks out. So their way of addressing the poverty is we're gonna throw you over here in something that's not considered the city, and then our numbers look a little different.
I mean, that's cool, but it's really kind of dodging the bullet. A lot of times, Philadelphia does not do a great job of innovating. All these big cities are in competition right now, and I would say Philly is not competing at the top of the level. And I get there's nuance and there's details.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, is the answer to if you want to compete, throw them over to the side, and then you can say your numbers of this. And I don't have an answer.
I'm not saying that's the answer. What I would say though is that Philadelphia has one of the most universities out of any other major city in the country. Do some kind of tax break. to keep that homegrown talent here instead of us experiencing this brain drain we have every year. Instead of increasing taxes, which they're about to do, but that's all.
Philadelphia is known as Eds, Meds, and Beds.
Yep. So it's but it's all about vision. If you don't have the vision, it doesn't matter. And I think you can do both. You don't have to just throw away folks, but you don't necessarily have to just say, hey, I'm okay with being the poorest big city.
I think that was an interesting point because I think it's partly true, right? Now, I want to get more data to see, but I know through my lived life experience, it's probably what he was saying is true, But anyway.
I mean, people jigger the numbers. They do things to jigger the numbers. I mean, that's true. I'm not denying that.
I sat in the meeting with the head data person of a police force before. I'm not going to say which city, but when he gave me some of the ways that they within, and this probably happens everywhere, so it doesn't even matter if I tell you where. But the way they be manipulating their numbers, they play games, dog. They play games. So, anyway. But Ronald Reed was a janitor. Ronald Reed, Mr. Earl, and the lady, I gave you her name too. So if you look those stories up, they're interesting, But anyway, it's been an excellent show talking about long-term investing, 5K to 1 million. We will be back on Friday, chopping it up,
Don't forget about the Bitcoin giveaway.
Bitcoin giveaway is Friday. We appreciate you guys. We probably got a video dropping in the actual for the people that are in the paid tier of the village. We got something dropping for y'all tomorrow, and we got a lot more coming up, man. I've been talking to folks about doing some guest classes within the village. But if you're not in the village, make sure you join the village. You know what I'm saying? You go to blackwealthrebels.com. Go to blackwealthrebels.com. We do have a free tier. You get access to the pods early. They call me 2 Pod Shakur. So, Hey, listen, Kamari, by the way, I do 2 pods, right? Outside of the 2 pods, I'm on Friday, Wednesday, and Sunday, man. I'm on 5 days a week. Come on. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here like Yuki Washington and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I'm on more than Yuki right now, dog. Like, what you doing, man? You want to step your game up or no, man?
How you doing, cousin? Listen, feel free to talk your trash.
I'm just asking a question. I just want to know you gonna show up or not.
I've already showed up. I mean, I'm part of the reason why you got 2 pods, but we're not gonna talk about that.
I'm like the Black Jim Gardner, man. That's all, 5 days a week, man.
Okay. Push it to 7, then you'll impress me.
I mean, listen, I can. You ain't saying nothing stick to a can of oil.
Go ahead, let's get it. Let's see it.
What you doing? I mean, I just want to see you get the first pod off the ground.
I mean, this pod don't count. This is a pod.
You're talking about the tax pod you supposed to have been doing for 4 years now.
Listen, man, I'm recuperating from tax season.
I want for my brother what I want for myself.
I'm recuperating from tax. Listen, your brother needs some goddamn rest. How about that? Pay for a full vacation. Fly me out.
I got some Santorini muscles waiting for me right now, man.
All right, hold on. What it end up says, Rory did revive the content frequency here. Huh? Yeah, I did. He won't give me the for that though. It's cool though. Listen,
man. I'm the Black Jim Gardner out here. I'm on 5 days a week, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, Rory Marr, listen, man. I gotta get to these Santorini muscles, man. And shout out to the chef too. What's the chef's name? You gotta give him a shout out, man.
Chef Zori. Oh, I give Zori a shout out all the time.
Listen, no, Chef Zori need another shout out, dog. These Santorini muscles are, man. Listen, man. I think they blessed by the new pope or something, dog. Like he must have, gave it a little, because these Santorini muscles are something else, dog. Shout out to Chef Zori, man. Chef Zori is amazing.
All right, CT guy says I really enjoy the Thursday morning show, Kamari. Okay, all right. So technically, yeah, I'm on. I'm on. Jimmy just told me.
Here you go. Talking about that's not even your show though.
It's not.
Okay. I shot to them. I mean, you get your ratchet behavior off.
Real bad boys move in silence, man.
You get your ratchet content off. You know what I'm saying? I watch.
Listen, I do ratchet content every time I'm with you. I'm sure we're going to talk about SWs and WCP on Friday.
I'm Tupac Shakur, though. Check out the pod, yo. PhillyRollHomeReport.com, StackSats.trying.com. Those are the two pods. You know what I'm saying? Tupac Shakur here. You know what I'm saying? So go check it out. It's in the village. You know what I'm saying? Both pods in it. By the way, the newest episode of both have been in the village for days, and neither one of them are on YouTube or Facebook or any other public platform. You know what I'm saying? So I think Philly Roll Report actually drops live tomorrow. Stack Stats drops on Friday. You know what I mean? I got Thursday and Friday on lock. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is, man. Tupac Shakur signing out. Black Queens forever. You know what I'm saying? Leave the vanilla alone. Don't be like, Rory Moore. So
all this slander. All right, y'all. I will see y'all Friday, late and early. See y'all Friday for the Bitcoin giveaway. Y'all have a great night. Y'all be great.
Peace, y'all. Love.